be somewhere like this where you're so exposed to the elements. I feel really close to some of the more powerful parts of nature. It's lovely. I spent so much time down on the beach, getting inspiration, but just getting this sort of sense of well-being and just a real sense of joy. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful down here. I go into the sea a lot because one of my passions is the movement of water and the energy that comes from water. So it's a sort of constant relationship really between whether I've been in the sea lately or whether I've walked enough, been outside enough. But if I'm in any doubt about inspiration, I just have to walk out the house, come onto the beach, and just get a real sense of the landscape, or the seascape landscape, the coast, that interface where the two meet. Most of my pictures do have that in them, that sense of either a wave crashing against the coastline, or just some of the real detail of the coastline, the patterns, the geology. It's just the beauty that is just on our doorstep. The reason why I do what I do as opposed to all those other incredibly valuable, useful jobs is because I found a way of focusing on something that I really value. I have a real interest in the structure of our landscape and the pictures that I've often portrayed. It is through studies in geology, you can't help but always be fascinated in the colours of the rocks, the reasons why some are formed as they are, and what was going on deep beneath the surface of the earth that caused these intrusions up into the landscape. And that does matter. There is a sort of huge fiery energy quite often that feeds into my work. My work is noted for having a very tactile quality to it, and it is something that's important to me. I feel when I'm out in different environments, different places, I am always interested in how a rock will be crumbling, or there'll be sharpness, it's all about the feeling. It's a very sensual experience for me. And I try and bring some of that into a painting so that the viewer gets a real sense that this is a real environment. And quite often people will say, I feel like you can almost climb the rock face, or you're worried about climbing it because it might crumble. And that gives me a lot of pleasure knowing that people are interacting at that level, because that's what it is. That was one of my key aims. Iceland was our first road trip, based around painting, capturing one of the least spoilt inhabited landscapes. Me, my husband and 2 children set out on this amazing road trip. We chose the west coast up to the peninsula and going around the peninsula, and then back down, and then doing some of the more obvious sites that everybody gets drawn to. The pictures that come through are a really, really close examination of the way one part of Iceland works, I suppose, because it's quite an incredible place, because it's constantly changing. Never have I really been that close to watching one place change its whole colour scheme within a split second as the light changed, a cloud lifted, and a new world was revealed. It was just magical. I always feel these canvases that perhaps come out are perhaps another phase of the sketching that might lead to something even more true to the landscape. But actually, no, does it matter so much that this is where I am now with it, and I could revisit most of these pieces and I could do them differently again, and they would also be a fairly true reflection of what we saw out there. And that's quite exciting, I think, because there's nothing worse for an artist than feeling like they haven't got anything to paint. and I am rarely these days that artist. There's too many things that I want to capture and I want to express. So it's really exciting times.